Hey there, so I am putting together a bunch of pictures for Gothic Comp 2011 competition where you compete against other people with showing off your Battlefleet Gothic models for conversion and painting. And I'm going to take the opportunity because I'm down here with all the setup. I'm going to show you a little bit. I've got tons of things I am doing pictures of at the moment. And on my game table down here, I've got both Eldars. I've got Chaos, Imperial, some Space Marines up top. Yeah, but I'm going to be talking mainly about Tyranids. I've wanted to do this video for a long time, and just to help some people out because I am a Tyranid freak, and I need to explain. I'd like to explain how I make my Tyranid escort, or basically my Tyranid fleet. So first things first, I want to let you know that I've made my own hive ships out of green stuff and pink foam. Actually, that stuff over there, and some monstrous creature bits. And I really like how they turned out. I kind of went with the Games Workshop version, and it's kind of like a whale look to it, but it's just kind of nasty opening in the side and just spots on top that are just gross. Pretty much all that's green stuff built on a base of that pink foam. And so here's sort of like the bottom part here. Sorry, it's kind of hard to maneuver here. You know, just sort of doing the back part, the claws. Anyways, and I like to mount them on these metal dowel rods. Anyways, I've got another video about that if you're interested in learning how. But I'm going to start real quick and put this camera down, and I'm going to talk about an easy way to make Battlefleet Gothic Tyranid escorts out of pretty much just the Gaunt box, and I used a couple Tyranid Warrior bits boxes as well. So first things first, I'm going to start with the drones. There are two different kind of drones that I've been working with here. First, one's with pyro acid. Now really, this is how I made them, and pretty much it's just a devourer part from the Gaunt's box. You can see I pretty much just took clippers and clipped right here, and then sort of filed it down and just sort of smoothed it over. And honestly, it was really simple to do. And I mounted it on a paper clip and just sort of glued it into here. And yeah, painted it up. It was actually really easy to do. You know, you just kind of deal with the fact there's a little hole there. You could probably fill it with green stuff, but you pretty much just need to shave it down. So that's that. Second, I have Bioplasma version. Now the Bioplasma, I guess tactically I'll mention this. These are, to me, like the standard if you're going to use these escorts. Actually, you have to use these escorts for hive ships. These guys have decent range, 30 centimeters, and pretty powerful if you get a unit of 6 of them around your hive ship. It's I think weapon battery power of 24, which is really nasty. So next, I have the Bioplasma version, which again is basically the spine fists from the Gaunt box. I did the same thing. I just shaved around the back here, and again kind of deal with this hole. I just sort of shave them down, and I don't really care because it's a Tyranid and it's supposed to look crappy, so whatever. You know, and I just did a couple dry brushes, a wash, whatever, again on paper clip. And yeah, so those are the drones. I usually use these as not in the squad that I keep. If you look in the Tyranids FAQ for 2010, drone ships basically can protect your hive ship, say if they're touching in the base like this, and you kind of put them around the front of here, and it protects them from the hive ship from shooting. Anyways, I do that with these guys, but I don't with these because these guys have pretty short range, and you really want to get them up in your face to shoot. I think their range is 15 centimeters, which is really crappy. But I use them as a small little group, and I go all ahead full, and I go in and I just blast them with those bioplasma shots. Once you get in there, and if you get a decent amount shooting, stuff's going to die. onto the Vanguard. There's only one Vanguard type I use, and that's the feeder tendrils type. And I use these feeder tendrils from whatever I can get. Most of the time, I forgot what uses these. I think Tyranid Warriors have them. Actually, these are the sort of shorter version, but if I can reach over real quick, I have some with longer feeder tendrils that I got from another kit as well. I kind of just bend them out like that. But this is a little more complex. You basically take the Tyranid Warrior head and don't put the face piece on. And I just mounted, pretty much glued the feeders up to the face, really, where the face would have been. And it's kind of crude. You just glue them up to it. And then what I did is I used these are from the flesh borers of the Gaunts. And I cut them off kind of at a weird angle, if you can see. And I just glued them right to the side of the feeder tendrils. And it looks a little crude when you look at the bottom here, but once you see them on the table and there's a bunch of them like this, they turn out looking pretty cool. And you know, they look nice. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Again, I mount these on metal dowel rod, 1/8 of an inch stuff you can get at the hardware store. So I'm going to go ahead and put this guy over there. On to the next stuff. To the Kraken. Actually, let me talk about Vanguard again. They are great for getting in your face. They have that kind of targeting thing. If you look in the rules, if they're within a certain range of enemies, you can target any enemy you want that's within a certain distance of Vanguard. So it sort of works nice to get, you want to get them close for feeder tendrils, and you want to get them close for their targeting ability. So what I do is I put 1 or 2 of these in each Kraken unit, which we'll talk about in a sec. But I also like to have a unit of 5 of these by themselves, and I just like to fly into the enemy, use the feeder tendrils and the targeting. Anyways, next group, Kraken. First, my standard is the Claw Kraken. Now, I made these. I'm going to get a little more basic looking one. This one's kind of got claws all over the place. Here's a kind of a basic one. Basically, this was harder to do, I believe, than most. This is a Hormigaunt body. I love the spine tail, so I just thought that looked really cool with this. I took the Hormigaunt head here, and it took a little bit of work, but I took the Hormigaunt head by itself, and I shaved this top piece off the Hormigaunt head. I also use Gaunt heads too, but I shaved everything under it, and it took a little bit of work with the X-Acto knife and the file for each one of these. I have 10, but you know, it took me a while. But then that sort of, there's like also another little ridge on the Gaunt body, like right here. You'll see that you got to kind of file down, and then this sort of fits over nicely. I also think it looks cool because this is a ship that's also decent at ramming. So anyways, I use that. You have to kind of shave right there, flat like this, to get those back legs off the Hormigaunt. You just sort of shave it flat, and then that's where I end up drilling the hole to mount it right there. Also on the sides, I drill. So basically, I drill like this on the bottom, then I drill like this, drill, file like this under the tail to get those legs off, and then to shave sort of where his thighs are, where you got to get the legs off like this and like this. And I have them flat on purpose because these little spine fist pieces cut at an angle fit really nicely on there as sort of like the jet engine parts or whatever, what have you, on the sides. And I put 2 on the sides. So those are flat on the flat edges. There's flat here on the bottom where I drill into to put this dowel rod. It's still at these bottom legs, and then I really just cut these Hormigaunt claws off, sort of, I don't know, I guess at the elbow it would be. I know they've got an extra little hand part here, so imagine this is the hand, there's sort of the forearm, then I kind of cut it at the elbow and I fit it in like normal, and this is sort of what you come up with, is these claw Krakens. And these are fantastic to get in your face and just hook onto ships and claw them up, and actually they just terrify the enemy. People are really freaked out about these getting in your face. So a unit of 5 of these. I like to also stick a Vanguard in there to use its feeder tendrils, but I keep them near the back so it's harder to target. And I I have him in the back so that he can use his targeting setup, mainly so that my gun Kraken that are coming up next can shoot, but I also use it so my Hive Ship, who I always put two different what are they called? Pyro acid sets on them so they can shoot, because they can shoot sort of over the back. So yeah, so Vanguard, my Claw Kraken. Next on the list, another commonly used one in my list is a Pyro Acid Kraken. I did the same thing, but I didn't put the vents on the back. What I did when I shaved the bottom and the sides is I put this Gaunt shoulder armor piece, or armor piece that comes in the Gaunt kit, just over those flat parts to sort of cover that. And I think that looks pretty cool, because they don't have really any important arms. So those the spine fist pieces I put in the arm kit. Actually, I kind of think it, I don't know, looks a little bit more like wings on this, a little bit more, I don't know, stealthy. I don't know, less menacing in your face, more about the guns. I just really like how this turned out. So really, instead of putting the hard part, that Gaunt head on the front, and shaved down, I shaved that part down anyways, but I flattened it like this vertically, and then I put the front to sort of match up. These are my two Pyro Acid units. I cut this Pyro Acid gun right there, filed it down, and then that became the part that I glued right on the front of this Hormagaunt body. Again, I also shaved the legs off and drilled and put that dowel rod in there. You could also use normal flying stands. I just like these dowel rods. Anyways, yeah, these were relatively easy to do. Mainly shaving the legs off, putting these spine fists in the armholes, covering that area with the Gaunt shoulders, filing and putting the front of the weapon batteries on, and then putting it on a base. You notice there's a couple of these that I'm about to show you that use base that I've had to make on my own, mainly because the bases from Games Workshop are expensive. Anyways, yeah, let me put those out. The next one I'm going to talk about is a Bioplasma Gaunt Kraken. And you may say, where do you find the rules for that? I mean, where do you get to use that? In the FAQ for 2010, they allow you to use this for, I believe it's 10 points on your Kraken. It gives you 2 Bioplasma, and it's pretty much the same as what would be on the Bio drones. But you can put them on a Kraken, which I think is awesome, because these Kraken are hard to kill, and you can just all ahead fold these suckers into the enemy and let it rip with these. I use a unit of 5 of these, and you can imagine 5 Bioplasma, basically lances that ignore shields. That would give you 10 of them. If you can get close enough with these, you will wreck some stuff. Anyways, made the same way as the Bioplasma or Pyro Acid version, except I have obviously the spine fist head, and then these little side pieces. I can't remember what I used these from actually. Oh, these are the little hooves that I shaved off of the legs. So that's what I used the extra legs for from the Hormagaunt bodies. I've got all these legs laying around. I cut the hooves off, and I used them sort of like little wings or vents or whatever you think they might be. On here again, the Gaunt shoulders, but this one was relatively easy to make. I love these in the game. They're terrifying to players I play against. A unit of 5 of these people will turn heads and have to deal with these, or else they're in trouble. So that's the escorts. I showed you a little bit about the Hive Ship. I would recommend, if you don't want to go through the process of making these, I probably should have just bought the Games Workshop ones, which I think look great anyways. So what I would do if I were you, if you don't want to make your own, buy 2 Hive Ships from Games Workshop, and then a box or 2 of Gaunts. In fact, you can probably get away with 1 box of Gaunts and 1 box of Warriors. I happen to have a ton of Tyranid bits laying around, so whatever, I just use those. But really, if I were going to start Tyranids, I would get 2 Hive Ships from Games Workshop, a Gaunt box or 2, and a Warriors box, and then make all my ships from there. So, one more thing before I go. Real easy to make assault boats and fighters. Basically, you get tons of these little bits, and these become fighters. These are movement tray boxes from Warhammer Fantasy. I have just tons of this laying around. So I basically drilled in, and I put paper clip in, and I drilled into the bottom and basically pinned these on top of this. And these little fighters are just those little glands that you get with we get Warriors and with a Gaunt box, and I think they look perfect on the field. I don't know, they're just real simple. This is the same size as the little fighter and bomber bits, exactly the same size as the fighter and bomber bits you got in the original Battlefleet Gothic box set, and I actually checked that. So they're pretty cool. Also, the other glands make for nice little assault boats. So yeah, do the exact same thing, and I just pin them in and mount them. And they're supremely easy to make, and making a bunch of these looks pretty striking. Yeah, I'm really into that. So I'm glad if you watched all the way. I thank you doubly. If not, either way, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you out, and we can get a little bit more I don't know, Tyranid love in the Battlefleet Gothic arena. And yeah, so just to give you kind of a glimpse, these are my, the ones we just talked about, Hive Ship here. But I also have a whole bunch of other stuff. Another Hive Ship I've made, tons of escorts, all kinds of good stuff. And I love Tyranids, and I hope you do too. See ya, thanks.